Hey everyone, it's Jason. Just wanted to put out another one of these discussion videos. I wasn't planning on doing another one so early, but some things happened over the weekend that made me want to get my thoughts out. So basically, what brought about this video was the premiere, Season 5 premiere of the Clone Wars. I'm really excited, really enjoyed the episode. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's awesome, and this show just keeps getting better and better and better. Much more mature, much more... it's getting much darker this season, and I think people would really, really enjoy this episode. However, one of the things that came about in this episode, and I hope this is a spoiler warning, people, so if you have not seen this episode and you want to see it before you get any spoilers, just warning, stop and come back later. But if you have already seen it or don't care about spoilers, one of the things that happened in this episode was the character of Adi Gallia, however you want to pronounce it, was killed by Savage Opress. And that is something that has gotten some fans upset, because originally Adi Gallia was killed by General Grievous in the comic books. And I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but that's where she was killed. And her sister, or cousin, Stasa Lee, ended up taking her spot on the Jedi Council, and that's why Stasa Lee is on the Council in Episode 3. But, similar to what happened in Season 3 with the death of Even Peel in the Citadel arc, instead of him surviving Order 66 and getting killed in the Coruscant Nights books very early on, my feeling on it is that especially in the regards of Even Peel, that fit the story much better. As far as the Clone Wars, the Clone Wars told the story, told the death much better. In the Coruscant Nights book, that could have been any Jedi. They just decided to make it Even Peel. There was nothing really character specific that meant it had to be Even Peel. So they could go back and retcon that book, which I know a lot of continuity fans really don't like to hear. But one thing that we do have to remember with the expanded universe is that it expands an already existing universe. And if the universe decides to expand over the top of the expanded universe, then we have to, unfortunately, deal with it. And I don't want to get into big EU continuity bashing, which it's not my intention. No, not my intention at all. I really do appreciate the continuity of the EU and the way that that they try to all blend it together, blend the comics and the novels together to make it all fit and coalesce and just make up a cohesive whole. I'm a huge fan of history. I love history. So seeing a chronological order of events throughout the expanded universe makes me very happy. However, the Clone Wars, if we want to get into levels of canon, the Clone Wars does take precedence. It is George level canon. I mean, at this point, it's not even just TV level canon anymore, because of the amount of involvement that George Lucas is involved with it. It should be a George Lucas level canon, only surpassed by the films. Because they all come from his thoughts and his ideas. In fact, Darth Maul coming back was George Lucas's idea, because he liked the character and he wanted to see Darth Maul again. Which, that's fine with me. I like Darth Maul. Darth Maul's pretty cool. And the way that they're taking it is making me really happy and really excited to see where he'll go from here. But back to the specific topic I wanted to address, that of the death of Adi Gallia and Even Peel. These are two characters that in the comics and the novels had been killed off at later points in time in the continuity, in different circumstances and different events. And I have not read the comic that Adi Gallia was killed in completely all the way through. I sat and flipped through a graphic novel version that had that, like, at a Barnes & Noble one time, and so I read the section there, and I don't remember the whole circumstance that surrounded that. So I can't speak as if the comic had any specific reason for that being Adi Gallia that was killed there in the comic, because I know I've seen online people, saying, well, why couldn't you have, just fixed, what, an issue that was brought up and had it be Eth Koth there with Obi-Wan, and had Eth Koth be killed off instead of Adi Gallia. That would have just solved so many problems, in which Eth Koth was killed off basically in a Guide to Locations book for Attack of the Clones. One little blurb mentioned about that big, which was a sad way for a Jedi Master on the Jedi Council to be killed off, in my opinion. Never mentioned anywhere else. His death was never mentioned anywhere else, as far as I'm aware of, in any other comic or continuity until much, much, much later down the road, if at all. So, take that as you will. I don't think he should have been killed off by a blurb that was a sentence and a half, basically, of, this part of the battleground was where this gunship went down, with Sorbalk being the only survivor and Eth Koth dying in it, whatever. If Sorbalk survived, Eth Koth could have survived. Whatever. But, so I can't speak as to the comic as to whether or not there was any reason for the Jedi that, General Grievous killed in the comic being Adi Gallia, other than her being a esteemed and well-respected and talented Jedi Master and one of the Council, and just to show how powerful Grievous is in order to kill a Council member. So I can't make the argument that, well, the story's suited better by having Adi Gallia be killed off in the Clone Wars TV series rather than the comics, because I just don't know all the circumstances. But I think it definitely served to show how deadly and dangerous that Savage Opress and Darth Maul are, as they try to make their way in the galaxy at large now. And, I mean, Adi Gallia is supposed to be dead by the time Revenge of the Sith rolls around anyway, so if they kill her off in the series, then they have that situation solved. And they don't have to try and work a story that they're not already planning on telling into the Clone Wars in order to have her killed off by General Grievous. Because, as we see, the Clone Wars TV series is taking a different route than the novels and the comics did. Which I think is really cool to see another side of the Clone Wars. So, and this one obviously being the more official route because of its standing in canon, being, basically George Lucas canon. But like I said earlier, with Even Peel, in Coruscant Nights, there was nothing distinctive about the Jedi being Even Peel other than the fact that it was Even Peel. And so when you give Even Peel a story and a reason to be in the Clone Wars, and something as important as these hyperspace routes that give, whoever has them the access to the core worlds of both the Republic and the Separatists, and he has that. And that is the reason why he needs to be rescued and brought back to Coruscant. And you give him that level of importance, then that story fits him as a Jedi Master of the Council better, in my opinion. So, I don't know what else to say, really. I just want to get some of these thoughts out. And I'll probably have a couple of other Clone Wars-related thoughts in the next couple of weeks, as I see more responses out online in regards to the new season, which is great so far. I'm really, really enjoying it. But as usual, Give me your thoughts below. If you know any more of the circumstances from the comic in which General Grievous kills Adi Gallia, and you want to tell me, well, this reason is why it's more important for her to be killed in the comics rather than the TV series, go ahead and let me know. Just give me your thoughts on the idea of the Clone Wars TV series being, what level of canon it is, and how you think it should be treated in that respect. It's late, and so I'm not as enthusiastic as I normally am. So leave comments, and again, if you are, don't be mean, don't be rude. If you're disruptive and offensive and insulting, I will delete the comments. But all of our listeners are awesome, so I don't think I'll have any problems with that. So until next time, this is Jason, and I will see you on our next episode of the Wampa's Lair.